Hello everyone, I'm Sam. Welcome back to From the Depths. Today, instead of a campaign video, I'm starting a new series this time, which I will call The Ships of From the Depths. Essentially, in the series, I'll be going over ships in From the Depths in a sort of very broad fashion. So it'll be kind of like Borderwise's series called Most Wanted, but for overall factions. So, the Deepwater Guard, Orange Watch, White Flayers, Twin Guard, Lightning Hoods, Steel Striders, Grey Talons, and Scarlet Dawn, as I get to them in my campaign. Today, we'll be doing the Deepwater Guard. All their ships, their weaknesses, and how best to kill them. Alright, so, let's start with the nice little Marauder. Oops, I should have spawned that on my team. Player. Marauder. The Marauder is the punching bag of From the Depths. You know, it's the weakest ship I can really think of, other than the even smaller Deepwater Guard crafts. Although, after the recent Tram Cannon overhaul, this thing has actually become a bit more dangerous. As you can see, it now has a fuse on the Tram Cannon. But I'll get to that later. The Marauder is basically a gun, some smaller guns, and a wheel. Yes, a wheel. A paddle wheel for propulsion. Something straight out of the 1800s, apparently. Not very powerful. Made entirely out of wood, which is not the best thing when you're fighting against, enemies with high-velocity cannons and fragmentation rounds that will shred the entire ship with 2 hits, but it can be dangerous because of this little cannon over here, this maximum gauge Cram Cannon, which has been updated, as I mentioned already, with a fuse. See, before, the Cram Cannon had a good chance of just bouncing off and not exploding. Because without a fuse, it didn't actually... Well, without an inertial fuse, it basically just didn't know when to explode. But with the inertial fuse, it's now guaranteed to explode upon impact. And, I'll just say, full-gauge Cram Cannons are pretty dangerous. Oh, by the way, the AI is right here. So if you're ever boarding the thing, just hit this bit. Right? Moving on, the Vanguard. It's a very small fishing boat, essentially, with a sail and a small Cram Cannon. Pretty weak. There's not much to say about this thing. Basically, you can blow it up with a few good hits to the hull, or the turret, or the sail. Really anywhere, thinking about it. Yeah, not very dangerous. We next have the Sea Viper. Also not very dangerous. It has literally Age of Sail cannons on the front, which are, not very powerful. These things just fire cannonballs. They fire literal cannonballs. Not dangerous in the slightest. A little paddle wheel at the back. As long as you know decently how to build a ship that is slightly more powerful than this, you should be okay. Oh, so it's a ram on the front. Very nice. Next we have the Jacob's Folly. Right. Which is, surprisingly dangerous in the right circumstances. If you're using a slow ship without a lot of armor, these Cram Cannon mortars can be quite dangerous. These, minimum gauge crams, which although, they are quite small, because of the way they're designed, being mortars, instead of firing like this, sploosh, they fire more like this. Sploosh. Come right down on your deck. Which can be quite dangerous because, well, most ships don't have much deck armor. as long as you can destroy it quickly, or have a decently fast craft, you should be okay. It is also literally a fishing trawler, if you read the lore behind the ship. Actually, I'll show off what I mean by these things being mortars. Let's respawn in something... Spawn a Marauder. All the way up, and they fire. The mortars also have a slight homing effect. That's why they aren't completely inaccurate. Let's see. Walrus. The Walrus is a cargo-carrying boat. Not dangerous at all. Oh. Quite, weak. Mostly just good for, resources if you board it. If you see one of these in your campaign, I recommend that you capture it, because it will hold a lot of resources inside of it. Like all these containers and ammo barrels and containers and containers and more containers. Also a paddle wheel. The Deepwater like their paddle wheels, don't they? Finally, Jacob's Scorn. This is... well, it can be dangerous in the right circumstances. As long as it doesn't get too close, it won't be dangerous, but if it gets within melee range of you, this big wrecking ball can be quite, rather dangerous. I have seen ships get torn apart by this thing's ram. So be wary, and stay at distance when fighting this thing. Moving on to regular designs. The Kalmar. It's decently dangerous. I mean, has some Tram Cannons here. Pretty big ones as well. Some little unguided rockets. Wait, are they unguided? Get back here. Stop moving. Yeah, unguided. They just use one turn to go vaguely at the enemy. Looks quite cool though. That's very cool, in fact. River Home. Decently dangerous now that they've changed the forward cannons to being Cram Cannons instead of little H or sail cannons. It also, somewhere hidden on it, oh, there they are, has these two big, sort of bombs, I guess you could say. Basically, these things are ejected out at high speeds. They have APN guidance, which allows them to glide towards their target. And I have seen these things do some damage. You know, they have quite a bit of damage on them. 22,000 explosive damage. And, I've actually even seen them hit planes before. Oh. Lovely little pirate man. How you doing, sir? Good to hear. Blah blah blah. What else is important? Ah, the scuttle gun. It's kind of a Jacob's Folly, in that it uses big-ass mortars. These are quite big crams as well. Well, medium-sized crams. Still really big for real life. Actually, way bigger than would be necessary in real life. Decently dangerous. Paddle wheel, again. Okay. Moving on to Expert. The Plunderer is quite a dangerous vessel. This was the original battleship for the Deepwater before the Crossbones appeared. This thing has some big boy Cram Cannons, and quite a few of them as well. All fused, so they won't just bounce off. Little AA gun here. The solution to this thing is basically, well, use metal armor, or use something fast. And bring Cram Cannons. This thing does not like being hit by Cram Cannons. The Pilferer. A pocket battleship, the little brother of the Plunderer. Small little cannons, 250mm. Pretty fast, though. Not too dangerous as long as you get a good hit on it. I recommend, once again, metal armor, because it's quite useful against this type of cannon. What does it even fire? Yeah, it uses quite small little explosive rounds. So yeah, just basically a little bit of armor should be okay when fighting this. Once again, paddle wheel. It is also quite volatile. If you hit one of these turrets, it will blow up. Like a heat round going into this turret side. Boom! Pulls the entire thing up because it's a deck gun with all the... Oh no, it isn't. It's not a deck gun. But it's quite a shallow ship anyway, so... As long as you got a decent penetrating hit, which is not hard to do, because there's only one layer of wood around this area and around here, it'll blow up quite nicely. It will explode very smoothly. Alright, the Prowler. This is Captain Cell's ship. Well, the Prowler Elite Captain Shell, in fact, is Captain Cell's ship. Read that bit if you like. Yeah, it's actually pretty dangerous in certain circumstances. When you're new to the game and you don't know what you're doing completely, this thing can be pretty dangerous. Quite a few Cram Cannons. Little missiles that look really cool. Actually, no, they're just unguided rockets. Still look cool, though. But this thing is very fragile. If you can get a good hit on here, you can take out the engine. Without the engine, this thing won't move. Without movement, this thing can't dodge. Without dodging, this thing will die. Simple as that. Rapiers in the campaign. Not very important. Okay. Oh, wait, there's one more line to do. The paddle gun. This is my favorite ship in the entire game. Not that powerful. At least not anymore. The old version needs to be a bit more dangerous. But this thing can still be quite powerful. Specifically against submarines. With these shells have the super cavitation base, which means that they can go underwater. That can be rather dangerous to submarines. You know, because they tend to have quite thin armor. Frag will shred them. Little rockets as well. Oh yeah, also, once again, paddle wheel. Right. Next up, the Corsair. That's a pretty weak ship, I think. Yeah, I've never fought this thing in the campaign before, but it's just a couple rockets. Just bring a fast platform, you know, metal armor. Next up, though, is something truly dangerous. The Crossbones. I remember when I was earlier on in my playing of this game, this thing was really dangerous to me. I was scared of this ship. With its big, huge 2,000mm Cram Cannons. That's maximum gauge. And 12 of them. Which fire at a decent pace, I believe. Actually, I'm not sure how fast. Oh, there it is. 21 seconds reload. Pretty average for a Cram Cannon. Very powerful, though. These things will blow through even metal armor. Like, even thick metal armor can be damaged by these crams. The solution to this vessel is, well, bring your own crams. It's quite slow, easy to hit. Fast craft can do well against this thing, just because Tram Cannons aren't very good at hitting things that move quickly. Although it does have some secondary cannons and AA guns, which can be deadly. It also has one shield on each side. Just about see it. Well, it's there, trust me. It is there. And, those things do tend to block kinetic rounds that are going for this sort of area. So don't use armor-piercing rounds against this thing, I guess. What's next? Well, let's go with aircraft. That's not very powerful. The Shrike, though, can be. Shrike is a bomber. But what you need to do is you need to hit it with some timed frag and timed flak. Because they can explode even if they miss. Explode near the target. So as long as you can do some bit damage to the thing, it will come crashing down to the earth. Explode in a massive fireball when you hit it with your main cannons. It looks quite nice, though. It does look quite nice. Duster's not very powerful. The Felix Gayer, basically a Shrike but bigger. Once again, this thing's a bomber. Drops, I believe missile bombs. I will just check real quick. Yep, here they are. Magnetic mines. With a torpedo propeller. Interesting. Once again with the Shrike, just hit it with some timed flak or frag, and it will go down pretty easily because of these exposed deady blades and relatively slow speeds. Finally, the Flying Squirrel. This thing used to be terrifying to anybody who played the game. Even people like Robaz had trouble with this horrifying monster of death and destruction and squirrels. Yeah, so the Flying Squirrel isn't very powerful anymore, though, now that we have timed fuses and such. Back in the day, you know, before APS and Cram existed, when we only had custom cannons without fuses, this thing was really dangerous. It still can be dangerous, though. It has little missiles, I think it has some, decoys as well. And bombs as well. But, with a new version of the craft, it's as long as you can get a decent hit near it, like, a fragmentation round going off around here will detonate these ammo barrels, blowing its head off, starting a chain reaction with those missiles. Boom, 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 boom. It's dead. It also has little sails on it. Adorable. Right, airships. Simoon, I don't know much about that thing. Let's see. The Moray. I don't know what that thing's in regular. It is actually a godly design. I think they might have been part of a glitch. But pretty dangerous, actually. Lots of big ass crams. Some little guns from, I think from the Kraken. Actually, little rapid fire guns. Here. The solution to this thing is a fair bit of missiles with not radar guidance or infrared, with something other than that, like laser guidance or what's it called? Remote guidance, because it does have decoys and interceptors actually. Okay, so never mind about that. What you want to do against this thing is basically APS. Advanced cannons will not miss this thing. Crams will. Right? A good anti-aircraft cannon, a big one, like 200mm plus, will shoot this thing down. So I recommend using that. More little guided rockets, too. Well, unguided rockets, rather. What's next? Barracuda and Falkenheimer are quite similar. So I'll spawn them in together. These are both basically, aircraft carriers that fly. Falkenheimer is basically a giant Zeppelin, which is quite cool. It carries 2 Dusters. Not very dangerous. Falkenheimer itself isn't very dangerous either. It has 1 advanced cannon. Well, 2 advanced cannons and 1 turret. Which can be dangerous if you're not using shields or anything, or, you know, if you have poor deck armor. And these little Dusters can be dangerous as well if they get really close to you and drop their bombs. Not too dangerous though. But the Barracuda has a whole load of planes known as Super Tweakies. Super Tweaky. They're not. Okay. It is pretty powerful in certain circumstances. Blah. Also, a little Cram Cannon I didn't know was here before. Oh well. So all you need for this thing is good AA. Shoot down these little Tweakies. And that's about it. Just some big guns to shoot this thing down. Ooh, I'm lagging. Alright, what's next? Marlin and Conger. Marlin and Conger are both based on the Moray. Moray came first, I believe. So this is the Marlin. It has some advanced cannons, which can be pretty dangerous. This is a 100mm Gatling gun. Here's some Cram Cannons, pretty big. All these craft have one weakness, and that is Deepwater Guard. They're part of the Deepwater Guard. They don't have much armor. They have just wooden armor for most of them. Not very dangerous at all. If you know what you're doing, that is. You know, same thing as before. Just get some pretty good AA and perhaps some LAM systems. That being laser ammunition. To get rid of these Cram shells. Or a fast craft, just, you know, get out of the way of the shell instead of having to shoot it down. Let's see, where's the Conger? Conger is here. Some broadside guns along here. Cram. More broadside guns. Not a very high fire rate on these little guns. So this thing is best in the first volley. And after that, you know, not as dangerous because of these guns' long reload. So yeah, I recommend timed fuses to shoot off all these little bits and get rid of these deady blades and everything. Yeah. So they can be pretty dangerous in certain circumstances, once again. I think I won't know. Ah, the Atlas and Frantic Chicken. Well, the Atlas, it's actually an easy design. I don't know why it's under Expert. Same thing as well. It has some pretty big Cram bombs along here, which are very powerful if you get hit by them. So, once again, timed flak and frag will destroy this thing easily by shooting off the deady blades, and they'll lose altitude and crash. It also has some little flak guns for AA defense. But the main thing is just these bombs. If it gets overhead of you, if it gets over you, you could be killed by it pretty easily. Because these are 2000mm Cram bombs, really powerful. Quite a lot of damage actually. 22,000 explosive damage. So once again, just don't let it get over you, and you'll be okay. chicken is not important as well, not as important as the other one I'm going to show in a minute. Buccaneer. I haven't actually fought this before, so I don't know much about it, other than it has big Cram cannons along the sides, some advanced cannons. I think it's the Prowler guns, are they? Same size. Not fire rate though. Once again, Deepwater card weaknesses. Hit with some frag rounds, time flat, explosive rounds, closing apart. Once again, fast craft to dodge the Cram Cannons, shields to block the advanced cannons. What else is there? Helicopters. Oh, the coffin nail. The coffin nail is like some sort of satellite, but not actually a satellite. Quite powerful. So a little minigun over here. Big ass minigun though. 150 millimeter, which is the biggest you can get a 6-barrel cannon, I believe. High fire rate, which fires inertial fuse frag. So yeah, what you gotta do is you just need shields and AA that can point up like straight up using these AA mantlets. It also has a big 500mm cannon, which is well, this one is quite dangerous. It can shoot straight down onto your deck, which you don't want, in fact, because well, you know, you don't want the thinnest part of your ship's armor to explode. It's also quite a good-looking craft. Little Cram Cannons up here. The Angry Chicken. This thing, the chicken, is powerful. It used to be, along with the Squirrel and the Coffin Nail, and the Powder Gun too, very dangerous to noobs. It's less so now, although I think it actually might be more powerful. Big guns on the wings, little missile. What are these actually? Unguided rockets, cannons for legs, a missile mouth. It's a big chicken. Yay. So yeah, quite a bit of metal though, which will be quite dangerous. Oh, sorry, not dangerous. Which will be quite resilient for when you're fighting against it. But there's a weakness right here through this window. You can shoot all the way through here into the AI and the engine. So just hope that you shoot this area and use time flash to take off these little secondary and main cannons. Should be good. It also, well, if you hit the right spots on it, it will just come plummeting down from space. Let's see, expert, monkey barrel. What's that thing in expert? It's an easy. Oh, well. It's literally just a flying barrel, if I can actually find it. There it is. It's literally just a flying barrel. One hit to it will probably destroy it. Heck, even simple weapons will shoot this thing down. It's, very unpowerful. Just has some small bombs on the sides. So don't let it get too close. As long as you have some decent, like, okay AA guns, you should be immune to this thing. Oh, but it does look really cool. Looks quite silly. The casket bolt. That thing's actually a lot more dangerous than it used to be. I think so, at least, because it has a really quite big Cram cannon that's maximum gauge, actually. And a particle cannon, which is set to impact, so it does thump damage. but it's quite small and compact, so it has a lot of stuff crammed into a small area. Which means that if you get something like a heat round or a hash round or an AP round right in here, there's PIDs, particle cannon internals, AI components. So a solid hit to this thing will blow it out of the air. Just destroy the thing. Destroy the poor helicopter to pieces. That's that's redundant. Oh well. The one last thing I want to show off is the Pequod, a submarine. I'll just, I've never seen this thing in the campaign before, but I've passed stuff against it. Pretty weak, little armor-piercing rounds. Which, you know, AP rounds in this game aren't, like, pure AP isn't amazing in this game, because the AI on the ship, the AI aiming can only target random blocks, currently, so, with an armor-piercing round, it's only good if you can hit, if you're going to hit a specific part of the ship, because it'll just go right through the armor. But if you can't select your targets perfectly, you're just gonna hit random spots, and therefore not actually hit anything important. Some little magnets as well, magnetic mines. The biggest thing I would recommend that you use supercavitation bases, supercavitation, what's it called again? Supercavitation supercavitation base, yes. Which essentially allows a shell to go through the water. I think I mentioned it earlier when talking about the paddle gunner. But, yeah. Use those kind of parts, and you should be good. Let's see, anything else I need to talk about? I don't think so. So, well, actually, I could talk about the bases. Although, only really this one's dangerous. The Davy Jones Outpost is the final base of the Deepwater Guard, found near Janwell. And it looks really good. There are some... It's a ship that's been, torn apart, and it's had, cannons added onto it, and these things look really good. Oh man, how do you do that? Oh, I see, they use a mimic to mimic, that's really neat. Some little missiles here. It also has 2 AI mainframes hanging off, the bow of the ship. Wait a minute. Hold on, so, I think I know what this is meant to be. I know what it's meant to be. Basically, the AI mainframes have brains inside of them. What else has brains inside of them? Your head. I think this is a head that's been hung on the ship. That's very nice and morbid. I like it. This thing, the Davy Jones Outpost isn't that powerful. It has a lot of guns on it and random stuff. And rockets and all sorts of stuff. However, because it is, quite open and doesn't really have a lot of armor on it, a good shell, a good hit will take out the AI. But I'm not sure where the AI actually is. I remember that it was in one of these rooms. Just, it's a Deepwater Guard craft, not a lot of armor. It's a starter faction of the game, can't blame them. Yeah, it's only 1 or 2 layers of metal, or wood and metal, around most of the base, so, yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's the most powerful thing that the Deepwater Guard have, other than the Crossbones, in my opinion. But it has the same weaknesses as the rest of the Deepwater Guard. Some good frag rounds will destroy this thing easily. It'll tear it apart. So, what I recommend doing is basically, get some big guns. Just get some huge guns, like something like this thing. Only bigger. It must be bigger. Pilferer turrets. Alright. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, maybe drop a like on it. Or don't, if you didn't like it. If you really like my channel, maybe subscribe. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Goodbye.